It's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin makes an incredible play. Holden works out of the gun, runs the option, keeps it. He is into the end zone for the Knights touchdown.
Welcome to Knightline Post-Game Live. When the clock expires, we go live. Night Nation's only post-game call-in show goes live now.
All right, hello Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley, and this is Knightline Post-Game Live. This week we're coming to you live from the 1148 studios. None of that Burger U stuff because of the late time. Trylko is visiting family out west. He may join us on the phone for a few minutes later. Special thanks to Travis Dever and the Dever team for supporting Knightline. Looking for a new home or getaway? Travis and his team have what you're looking for at the New Smyrna Beach area. Check out the Dever team today. Knightline Live is the only post-game live show where you are the star of the show. Call us now, 407-401-9184. That's 407-401-9184. And let us know what you think on Twitter and all that stuff. That's at UCF_Knightline. All right, well, that, I guess we were ready for a game like this. This was going to happen at some point. I kept trying to think how I was going to start the show if it didn't turn out in our favor. And a lot of times tonight I thought that, a couple times anyway. A lot of yards, but turnovers. UCF had 615 yards, total yards. SMU 489. Time of possession, obviously, everybody's going to have that on us. But these turnovers, 3 turnovers tonight, not good. Not good at all. I don't know what's going on with the defense. I feel like maybe they're down a little bit after last week, after the Austin Peay game. Austin Peay. I like to call him Austin Peay because that's what it says. Anyway, I'm just going to go to the phones. Phones are open, 407-401-9184, 407-401-9184. Here we go. Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Stefan from Oviedo.
Hey, Stefan from Oviedo. Well, go ahead. Tell us what you thought.
Yeah, first I just want to say, hey, you know what? A win's a win. I don't care how ugly it is. I mean, we walked away with the W, and we're still 8-0. So overall, I'm happy with that. But that's probably about all I'm happy with.
Well, it was definitely ugly. I mean, definitely ugly. No question, ugly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just looking over the stats. It's impressive. 412 passing yards. That's pretty good. And that's with barely over 50% completion. There were a lot of drop passes. McKenzie, I don't know what's up with him tonight. He had multiple opportunities to pick up 3 to 5 yards, and for whatever reason, he was like holding out to try and throw the ball, and then he would end up making a bad pass, or the guy would drop the pass when he could easily have picked up a few yards and made the next down a short down, like short 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 6 or something like that, instead of 2nd and 9 or 10. I don't understand why he was doing what he was doing. Well, you know what? The board was saying he didn't throw that one away where he took that sack all the way back to the 50-yard line. He was trying to burn the clock off.
Right.
I could potentially see that, but I don't know. He was off tonight. I don't know what's going on with
what it reminds me of is the way that he played last year, and the way that he played last year was the way that he plays when he's hurt. So I don't know if he's a little bit banged up. I mean, maybe that could be it. I was thinking this exact same thing. I think all of us were watching him play tonight with the with the interceptions and stuff like that. Maybe he's a little bit banged up. I mean, he came out, what was it, Navy, where he limped over to the sideline that one time. I know he came back in, and he played good last week and all that stuff, but maybe he's got something that's nagging him on as an ankle or a knee or something,
something. I mean, he had some couple of nice passes tonight, but several of his passes were wobbly. I mean, he normally throws perfect tight spirals, and he had a lot of wobbly passes tonight. And I'm just like, what the? A lot of passes that were short. It seemed like he was not, throwing off. He was throwing off his back foot. He had a couple sail, and I mean, some of them led to interceptions. I mean, he, fumbled that one. Two fumbles tonight. I'd say the biggest things that really pissed me off was the poor tackling. I mean, it was like, that first play where they busted off that long run. I mean, it was. I mean, I don't know what was going on there. I mean, it was like it was a comedy or something, And then there just tons of whiffs and guys taking each other out, and there were a couple bad play calls. We were real conservative. It seemed like on a couple times where we probably should have, stepped on the gas. I didn't really understand some of those play calls, and then I mean, we were only 4 for 15 on third down conversions. I mean, that's not typical for us. There were a lot of things that went on tonight that were not your typical UCF, and I don't know, what's going on with the team, and I don't care what anybody says. There is no way people can tell me that the freaking nonsense going on in the media about Scott Frost is not getting to the team. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. I was going to say that after you were done talking. That was exactly what I was going to say. There's no way that's not getting to everybody. There's no way. Because it's getting to us. It's getting to me. So
yeah.
If it's getting to me and I'm bugged about it and you're bugged about it and everybody else that's listening is bugged about it, how can the players not be bugged about it? How can Scott Frost not be bugged about it? I mean, Scott Frost is going through a lot. He's about to have a baby, the whole deal. Everybody's talking about where he's going to be going next, and we still have to go out and win football games. He still has to coach this team and let none of the distractions hurt anybody, and that's really, really hard to do. There's lots of distractions.
We took a step back last week. Well, we still blew the team out. We took more than a couple steps back this week, and we got lucky. 3 turnovers. You don't normally win a game like that. We got lucky tonight. We got lucky.
Absolutely.
The ball bounced our way. As bad as we played, the ball bounced our way. The defense held up as bad as they were playing, and we walked out of there with a W. Rivalry games are something completely different. And there's no guarantee that with the USF and the way Temple played the other day, I mean, the way Temple played against Navy, I mean, maybe Navy's a different game on the road, a different team on the road, but they played Navy pretty tough. And that doesn't look like that's going to be a cakewalk game either. So, I don't know. Something definitely needs to happen. I mean, if Frost is saying, I mean, he needs to not pull a Tom. If he's going to pull a Tom Herman, I mean, because it's kind of the way it's rolling right now. I don't know, but if the guy's going to stay, he needs to do like that dude that replaced Fuentes, where he came out with a team and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. To squash the rumors. Something's got to get done, because what is it that freaking Saban says? The poison. This is the freaking poison. The poison's getting to the team.
Absolutely. I agree with you, my friend. I agree, and I'm sure a lot of other people that are listening agree as well. So thank you for calling, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. All right. I'm sure you're probably going to get an earful tonight. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Go Knights.
All right, man. Charge on. Take it easy.
All right.
Thanks for calling. All righty. Well, you heard it right there first. This is just pretty much, how it is, I guess. So there's always going to be these things that there's always going to be games where you get a little bit of a setback. But I think that this is the thing that's on everybody's mind is let's take this phone call. Hey, you're on Knightline.
Yeah. To squash the rumors. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Joshua Kenna. I'm calling from Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right, Josh from Knoxville. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, glad to have the W. I think everyone, I almost was thinking cardiac a little bit. I mentioned earlier, you said you're liking not having the cardiac nights anymore, but man, they kind of brought it back tonight.
Exactly. I thought that we were done with this stuff. I wasn't prepared for this at all, to have a game like this.
But yeah, if anything, you were expecting. I think most people were expecting the score to be like double, like 62 to 48 or something. But not this one.
Well, yeah.
I will say,
SMU's a better team than. I'm sorry, real quick. SMU is a better team than we thought they were. For one, for sure, like definitely a better team than we thought they were. They played their hearts out, and if they would have beat a lot of other teams if it wasn't this team that they were playing. This team is strong, even though they get a few little step backs every once in a while, a couple in a row the last couple of weeks, but this is still a strong team. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. Well, I was impressed by them putting in Neville Clark. I think he changed our defense. He allowed us to have one-on-one out there on the outsides, and allowed us to key in on the run in the second half. And I got to give our coaching staff some credit. They made some adjustments. I mean, SMU's defense was kind of getting us out of sorts in the first half, and we kind of came out a little bit better, although SMU ate up so much clock, we never really could get the ball, it felt like. But generally, I felt like we made some adjustments in that second half, and that's also impressive to see.
Absolutely. I was definitely impressed with Neville Clark. We've talked about it for weeks, what it was going to be like when he came back, and we weren't sure. We weren't sure if he was even going to just walk straight into that spot. So obviously he did, and, played very well. He did. I mean, so I'm definitely impressed by him for sure. So I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah. Well, Bam, he had a really good game against Navy, and I think the coaches wanted to continue to reward him, but he struggled a little bit in that first half. And they've got some, as the broadcasters mentioned so often, I felt like, how great those wide receivers were. But they do have good wide receivers, but when Neville Clark came in, it changed it a little bit.
It did. And they do have
good, by dropping a few balls.
They do have very good wide receivers. They do. I mean, you have to give them that. But, they drop balls just like everybody else did, like number 18 did on that crucial fourth down or whatever it was that they had, where he was wide open. It hit him in the hands, and he just dropped it. So, everybody does that, So, all right, I have to tell everybody real quick, when you call, don't hang up. Like, I know it sucks to hold and all that stuff, but if you hold, it keeps your spot in line. Because I saw that we had a couple callers, and then we don't have a couple callers. And then we did have a couple callers, and then we didn't have a couple callers. So if you call in, just hold on the line. I know the music is bad and all that other stuff, but listen to it, and I know you probably can't hear us if you're listening on your phone and all that stuff, so I apologize for that. But if you call in, just hold on, and we'll get to you. Thank you very much for calling, Josh. Really appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good night.
All right, man. Take it easy. Go Knights.
Charge on.
I like to end the phone calls with that. That's really cool. So, yeah. So I believe that the phone is open right now. So 407-401-9184. But yes, I'll get back to it. Those wide receivers were good. Yes, ESPN. I don't know. ESPN sometimes really bothers me with all their stuff. All right, we got another call. Let's take it. Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello. You're on Knightline.
Hi.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Ryan from Cleveland. I go by UCF Night Diver on some of the forums.
Oh, great, man. Thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Not a whole lot. Definitely happy to come away with the win. Seemed a little bit like 2013 Cardiac Nights, like a couple other people were saying earlier tonight. So
yeah, absolutely. Definitely Cardiac Nights back again, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, add some stress to the entertainment.
Yeah, I had to start drinking a little bit earlier than I would sitting at home watching a football game. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure there was a lot of beer consumed. Go ahead.
Sure. I wanted to, I guess, put a little bit of a positive spin on it. So I looked it up, and SMU was scoring, I think, averaging 41.5 points a game prior to our game. And then, of course, we held them to 24 tonight. So, I think that that's certainly a positive, being able to hold SMU to, those few scores that we gave up. That being said, the offense was struggling a little bit tonight, so hopefully they can get things figured out with that and, continue on. I'm planning to go watch the UConn game and fly down for that game, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Yeah, we will see you there for sure. Yeah, we're not going to win every game. We're not going to win every game by 70 points or score 70 points in every game. We're not going to win every game by 30 points or whatever, I was texting with Trace earlier and just, I was having a little meltdown, of course. It's expected at some point during games like this for me to have a little bit of a meltdown. And, that's what he said. We're not going to win every game by 30 points or, we're not going to score 70 points in every game. So I guess that's what we have to get. We kind of got spoiled, I guess. We got spoiled by those big wins. And SMU, honestly, they were flying low under the radar, but they're better than people think they are. And honestly, those guys kept saying, maybe this is the team we'll see for the American Championship, and it possibly could be. And
absolutely,
man, it would be a heck of a game again, I can tell you that. So,
yep. I think SMU still has to play Memphis, so Memphis better watch out. That's a pretty decent team there.
Well, they've only got now two more losses than Memphis. I believe they're 6-3. They were 6-2 before tonight. So, they're way better than we thought they were, though. All right, man.
All right. Well, let me let you go. Wanted to call in and kind of give y'all some support and love what y'all do, so keep on doing it.
I greatly
go Knights.
Greatly appreciate it. Charge on, man. We'll talk to you later. Bye. I really appreciate you calling. All righty, I got to get a commercial going here. Let's do that first. Let me see if I can pull this off correctly here. Double computer action going on. Here we go.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Post Game Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
All right, and we're going to go straight to the phone because this guy has been hanging on for quite a while. You're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Night Atlanta up here in beautiful Lake Mary, Florida. How are you?
Not that far from me. How you doing? I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I thought I was going to have a heart attack earlier. What about you?
Yeah, I don't even want to know what my blood pressure was like tonight, man. I don't know what you're like or what the other fans are like, but I can't sit when games are like that, or my heart just pounds. I have to stand up.
I do a little bit of pacing, for sure. I definitely do a little bit of pacing, and I didn't throw anything. I need to get something soft that I can throw at the TV, though, because I almost threw a beer at the TV at one point. But, I don't
have the anger stuff with the throwing, but I can't sit. I got to pace like you and stand up. It's just, you get that heart-pounding feeling. But I do want to throw a little bit of real talk out here at everybody who might be messing around. On the boards, a couple times this week, I stressed SMU was a really good team. And I got checked by a couple guys. Oh, their defense is atrocious. We're going to drop, we're going to win by 40, blah, blah, blah. Look at these teams, look at this. And it's just like, we have the target now. When we play at other schools, especially for homecoming, they're going to give us their best shot. And up until this game, I thought the best game the American had put on was UCF versus Navy. And now I believe tonight's game took that as the best game. And by best, I don't mean that we performed the greatest. I mean, it was the most exciting to watch, heart-pounding. You didn't know who was going to win till the end. And the cardiac nights, people are talking about that. I mean, the reality is we're going to see that a couple times. But the real talk I want to get to here is a couple of people hit on it. You take away those 2 red zone turnovers and you take away that pick 6, they only scored 17 points. SMU scores far more than that. They had 283 yards passing. They usually have twice that. They hurt us on the ground. But our defense wasn't the issue tonight. We're a bend, don't break defense that concentrates on takeaways. And we held them enough. Offense just didn't do what they do with those turnovers. And I think that ultimately was the problem tonight.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and you know what? You got to take what people say on the message board a little lightly sometimes because that's a place that everybody can, and I love that it's free to talk and talk basically however you want sitting behind your computer screen. I like that in a way, but then again, obviously it gets a little weird sometimes, but there were people definitely that were calling, this game and somebody, I think said that he was worried about tonight, and I replied I was worried for SMU, so it's a good time on there, and luckily we have that number one, I guess, but yeah,
it's not just the board, it's even the fans on Twitter, and that's. You get a little cocky, and I mean, obviously, none of us have any impact on the game. We're not out there.
But we think we do.
The reality is, yeah, we do. We act like we do. But the reality is, it takes a bad game in your opponent's best game, and you lose. And I think when we're at our best, we are playing at a level unparalleled in the American. And I think our statistics and previous performances this season show that.
I think that it's not only unparalleled in the American, it's unparalleled in the group of 5. Obviously.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say it's unparalleled, and I would say in the upper echelon of college football currently, period, this year, we can play at a level that is elite this year on the offensive side of the ball. But your first caller, I don't remember his name, had mentioned, McKenzie had an off night, and he's going to have off nights. A quarterback is going to have off nights, make a couple bad decisions. He had the 2 picks, bad throws. The line had an off night. You had a recipe for disaster tonight on the offensive side of the ball. Turnovers, protection wasn't there. Our run game saved us a couple times. But good teams and great teams find a way to win. And I think that's ultimately what happened tonight. We had a close game against a really good team, and we found a way to win, and that's what champions do.
Absolutely. Very good take, man. I appreciate it. I got callers holding, and I want to get to everybody that I can. Thank you very much for calling. Really appreciate it. Go Knights.
Charge on, bud.
All righty. Awesome. Yeah, so he had a good take. He had a very good take of what he thought happened tonight, and I agree with a lot of what he said. Everybody's going to have an off night every once in a while. McKenzie hasn't really had an off night until tonight, as far as I'm concerned. I really don't think so. So the phone should be ringing here in just a second because we have people on hold. Thank you very much for calling and holding, by the way. And I'm gonna tell him this when I pick this up. Hey, you're on Knightline. Thank you very much for holding. I know you've been on there for a little while. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Andrew. It's Chris from Toronto.
Hey, Chris. How are you? Are you there? Oh, we may have lost Chris. That's a bummer because he held for like 5 minutes. All right. Well, we'll call back, Chris. All right. So that's kind of a bummer. I still have to wait 30 seconds for my next call. My phone system makes me wait. So there is another person on there, though. I can tell you their phone number. No, I won't do that. But anyway, I can see another person on there. So anyway, thank you, everybody, for calling tonight and every time we do this. I really have a blast doing this show. All right, here's the next guy. All right, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Andrew, this is Richard Stone calling from Chandler, Arizona. It's a suburb of Phoenix.
All right, Richard from Arizona. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, before I say that, I just want to congratulate you guys for doing such a great job. I really love listening to your show, mostly on podcasts. Thought I'd call in tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your call.
Yeah, there are a couple of things I just wanted maybe you guys could talk about a little bit. In the second half there, I thought the defensive player kind of slammed Milton down to the ground pretty hard there at that one point, and I was a little surprised that there wasn't a roughing the passer call, and I just wanted your take on that.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, I saw that as well, and I kind of thought the same thing. The only thing is, it wasn't a targeting thing. He didn't hit him above the head, but he did. Yes, he threw him down to the ground. I like to see plays like that in football, even though it may affect, a player that we need and that we like. I don't want to see people get hurt, but it's football. And the way that they take those kind of plays and they take a lot of the hits and stuff out of football these days, it's almost becoming flag football in a way. So in a way, I'm glad to see that. In another way, I'm not. But, that could have easily probably been called, but it's football. And I was kind of, like I said, I was, I kind of like to see hitting in football. So,
yeah. No, I understand. And I kind of thought the same thing, too. I was glad to see that, Milton obviously can take quite a bit. I was glad to see that he got right up and it didn't seem to bother him as much as I thought it might. The other thing was, I think like everybody else, I was, pacing around wondering, oh, my gosh, what's happening here? And near the end of the game, they scanned over at the line, and boy, our team was jumping up and down, and they were looking like they were having a great time. And I thought, man, I don't know if they should be that happy, but at least I'm glad they're not moping and looking like woe is me, what's happening,
I think that they tell those guys to do that on the sideline. They want those guys to bring the energy up and to see when you look over to your sideline, you want to see your guys, giving you, making the energy on the sideline, So I honestly think that they want any of those guys that are standing over there to do that. I will remind everybody as well, the last at least quarter or whatever, a lot of the defensive starters were out of the game, at least on the line. They would take them out on first through, third down and then bring them back in. So I think some other people got playing time tonight where you wouldn't normally think that you would see playing time in a close game like that. But there was some, so that wasn't the entire, starting lineup the entire time, especially on defense. So,
yeah, no, I think Scott Frost played it well, and it wasn't probably the most exciting win for us, but in terms of being what we were looking for, but it was a win, so we have to be happy with that.
All righty. Thank you for your call. Really appreciate you calling. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Go Knights.
Well, thank you, guys.
All right. All right. So I love it when we have new callers. A lot of times we have the same people that call, and I love to talk to those people. Don't get me wrong. If you are one of those people, I love to talk to you. But it is cool every once in a while to have some new callers. So I appreciate the people that tonight have called in that haven't called before. Here's another one. Oh, this one's going to be a good one. You're on Knightline. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Trace Trylko calling you from Denver.
All right, Trace from Denver. I think I know this voice somewhere.
I actually got to listen to Post Game Live for a change
instead
of being at a game and in the locker room. And it's interesting to hear the callers. I'm not entirely sure they recognize that it's an 8-0 team, for crying out loud. What an exciting game!
I know. This feels like this almost feels like Austin P or worse than Austin P, to be honest with you.
Oh no, I think it was just, as Scott Frost likes to say, a whale of a game. It was certainly exciting to watch, and I blame you, Andrew Phegley, for getting me hooked on this Twitter thing.
You're doing
now.
Such a great
it's
job.
My therapy session.
You're doing such a great job, Trace. You're doing a great job, and everybody appreciates it. Trust me.
Out here visiting family, and as a result of this back and forth game and late into the fourth quarter, I deprived my 6-year-old niece of dinner. It was delayed. Delayed, I tell you.
So I was telling everybody about my little meltdown that I was having earlier, and I was telling, I don't know if you heard this, but I was telling him what your reply to me was, that we can't win every game by 70 points, I think is what you told me.
40 points.
Okay, well, anyway, elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, there are going to be games like this. We said a couple of weeks ago we were concerned about Navy and their style of play, and we took some punches in that game. We had some deep passes, unexpectedly so. There was bend, but there was not break, and they came out of that game, a tough game with a win. I don't worry so much about the Austin Peay game. And in this game, you know, SMU's bowl eligible, and their head coach has done a good job of turning this team around. And let's remember the pick six there for a touchdown. I was certainly, if you follow us on Twitter at UCF_Knightline, you're going to see me overreacting throughout the game on the defense, but the pick six was points that way. The turnover, driving, that was an opportunity at a 35-17 game, and kind of in a cruise control situation, turnovers kept SMU in this game. So I want to backpedal a little bit on my overreaction to the defense. And they're 8-0. 5 teams are 8-0, and they still control their destiny to win the East, win and host the American Athletic Conference Championship game, and continue to climb in the polls. So I'm happy. I suffered through 0-12 with you in Night Nation. I'm happy at 8-0, and I'm not going to go overboard and nitpick it.
I'm happy, but yeah, we are, and we're looking for stuff to nitpick, and we've talked about this for the last few weeks. We're looking for stuff to nitpick. Now we have a few things to nitpick, so I guess we'll be doing that a little bit more. We'll have an all-new Knightline tomorrow night, and it's going to be an exciting one for sure because we have a lot to talk about. So we got some basketball coming up.
I was listening to the post-game comments from head coach Scott Frost, and he sounds like a tired guy. There's a lot of stuff on his mind. And I heard one of your callers talking about all of the distractions. You know what? That's what comes with playing big boy football and being ranked and being undefeated and all of this talk. That's what's going to come with it, and get used to it. If head coach Scott Frost continues to stay at UCF, it's just going to mean every single week his name is mentioned for some job somewhere in America, that guy has had to answer those questions this week, prepare a team for a tough road game, while being concerned about the birth of his child coming. Hats off to UCF and the coaching staff. They were prepared to hand off play calling duties to other coaches if need be. And a plane was waiting to take Coach Frost back to Orlando. They came out with a win. They have UConn at home. I'm looking forward to talking about it with Kyle Israel and Nick Patty tomorrow. We got men's basketball preview. That's coming up. There's so much to be excited about. Night Nation, enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. I have to remember that myself. I was trying to think of
you got people on the line. I will let you go. I have an early flight back. I will join you tomorrow for Knightline.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
8-0.
Yep.
Cue that music. Cue that LSU dad, Adrian Killen's call, because he was spectacular tonight.
Oh, man, absolutely. We haven't even talked about that yet. All right, man, thanks for calling. I'll see you tomorrow, and safe travels.
All right. Go Knights.
Charge on. All righty, awesome. I got to get a commercial in real quick here, and we'll be right back with more phone calls because we got people on hold. You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. All right, I will remind you, you're listening to Post Game Live. This is Andrew Phegley, and we're going to go straight back to the phones because they are ringing. Hey, you're on Knightline. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Andrew from Oviedo.
Hey, Andrew from Oviedo. What's on your mind?
Well, basically we escaped with a win. That's what I'm very happy about. But I've had a lot of question marks leaving that game.
Absolutely. Were you down there or were you here watching?
I was watching. I was hoping to go to that game, but I could not get tickets in time, so I had to watch from the comfort of my own living room.
Yeah, well, I did too. So it's not from your living room. I obviously was in my living room, but
of course.
Yeah, like Trace just said there. I mean, we're 8-0. We could be sitting here talking about being 0-8. We've done it before. So I don't know. What were your observations that really worried you or whatever about tonight?
I was very surprised of how hot and cold the offense and the defense were. Usually it's been, one side picks it up off the other, but today, I mean, they were trading punches on who's going to pick up who. You start off with a stall drive, and then the first play they take a ridiculous 86-yard screen all the way to as a touchdown, and then the offense responds, and then the offense stalls, the defense picks it up. I mean, it was just hot and cold all night, and I'm just curious who's going to step up. It was very frustrating.
Yeah, I guess the next man is who's going to step up. There's got to be somebody out there that's going to step up, and there usually is, and there has been. So I guess we're going to see maybe somebody new a little bit step up. That would be nice. One person that definitely stepped up tonight, and we really haven't talked about this. Trace mentioned it real quick, but Adrian Killens with 145 yards on the ground. That's crazy.
Yes, he had a lot of it up, and we have to give it up to number 14 on the corner. I forgot what his name was, but he did a very good job along with Hughes for the all the pass coverage.
Yeah, that would be Neville Clark, and he was one of the guys that was suspended, and so we haven't seen him really all season. We saw him a couple times in the Austin Peay game, but he really stepped up tonight. You are correct. Yeah, I mean, he played those. He was on one of those supposedly first-round picks, that are on SMU. They definitely talked a lot about them.
That's what it is, Sutton and Quinn on their team.
Yeah, and they're good receivers. They are, obviously. But, Neville Clark is a good corner as well. We didn't know what he was going to be like when he came back from his suspension or how quick he was going to get in there and all that stuff. So,
yeah. I have to say the one thing we're not talking about much is how less penalties we have. I was very pleasantly surprised of the reduction in penalties, because I don't remember really talking about stupid penalties in this game. It was more of questionable play calling.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that stat, but maybe I can find it here. I was looking for that. Penalties, 5 for 32 yards. That's pretty good compared to what we have been having in the past few games. So
yeah,
maybe they've got that under control. It's those turnovers and excuse me, the interception and the fumbles, or 2 interceptions and fumble. That definitely does not help you in any situation. But this is a high-powered enough offense that you can do that. We don't want to do that every week. We've seen games before where Mackenzie Milton had 6 for himself. That Maryland game last year where he had.
Yeah, I was there for that one. That was very hard to swallow.
I was there too, my friend. It was bad. So, all right. Well, thank you for your call, man. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Go Knights.
Thanks. Bye.
All righty. So, cool. I'm glad that like I said, we've had quite a few new callers. The phones are wide open, though, right now. 407-401-9184, 407-401-9184. They are wide open. So let's see. What am I going to talk about? I've got stuff here in front of me that we're supposed to talk about. What else happened in the American today? I know that the Cows, unfortunately, were winners today. Let me see if I can get that thing going here. Maybe we can have a little moo here. There we go. The Cows won, and let's see who else. Maybe I can get it here. I was expecting to have more calls at this point. We had some, and then they hung up. So let's see. Maybe somebody else can help us with that can call in. Every once in a while this happens. I just wasn't ready for it right now. Let's see. And of course, anytime you're looking for something fast on an internet browser and you got a bunch of windows open, and ESPN website is notorious for taking forever, and when you select American, you get the everybody else but the American on here. Let me see if I can scroll through here and find an American game. Well, I can find the Friday game for Memphis. Memphis won 41-14 over Tulsa. That really helps me right now. Let's see here. American, can you give me some... Oh, here they are. East Carolina lost 52-27. Houston beat them. Cincinnati won over Tulane 17-16. That was a low-scoring deal there. And how about Temple the other night? Putting it to Navy. That was pretty interesting. They won 34-26. I guess we could talk about the standings. Let's see. I know that UCF still holds on to the East over South Florida, Temple, Connecticut, Cincinnati, and East Carolina in that order. Memphis on top in the West over Houston, SMU, Navy, Tulane, and then Tulsa. So that's good. So, I mean, right now it's looking like hopefully I don't see nearly the teams left in our schedule that we do have Temple coming up, and we have South Florida. Connecticut, I don't really think that they're going to pose too much of a problem to us. I hope not, anyway. I don't think at 2-4 and what they're doing right now, we're gonna have too much of a problem with that. And then we look forward to Temple. Temple is come around a little bit. Their record really doesn't say it, but obviously if they were able to handle Navy the way that they did the other night, they're obviously starting to get something together there in Philly. So, and then, what is it? Black Friday was the thing I was trying to think of. Black Friday, South Florida at UCF, Southwest Florida, the Cows. That will be a heck of a game. It's going to be, it is. It's every time it's a heck of a game. So, not worried about that. All right, I'm going to get our last commercial out of the way here real quick. And then we hopefully we'll have a couple more phone calls. Phones are open, 407-401-9184. 407-401-9184.
Night Nation, now that the football season has started, you're going to need all the tailgating supplies and clothing for the rest of the season. And the best place to get all of your favorite night stuff is Fan Addicts. Please go to our website, UCFNightlinePodcast.com. Click the Fan Addicts logo to find the best selection and best prices for everything you need.
All right, I know some people have definitely bought some stuff off of Fanatics for us. Fan Addicts, that has been totally cool because that helps us out tremendously. Little things like that. Next year, I'm planning on trying to step this game up a little bit on this post-game live show and maybe moving to a different format as far as, and I really wasn't going to talk about this, but I am now, I guess, because I talked about it. So unless somebody calls here and rescues me from talking about this, I'm going to talk about it. So, all right, well, here's the deal. What I would really like to do is not have to rely on YouTube to do this show. I love YouTube. YouTube is awesome that they let you do this for free, basically. Free as far as free broadcasting. You don't have to pay anybody to broadcast. That's awesome that they do that. And if you have enough people watch for long enough, you get a little bit of money. We have not received very much money from YouTube, of course, because we're not getting the hundreds of thousands of views and hits like the guys that have cat videos and skating videos and car videos and all that stuff. So we're just trying to do this on there. But anyway, what I would really like to do is possibly be able to have our own app for iPhone and Android, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to do it. The thing is, it's going to cost us a lot of money. All these things cost us money, and I know I talk about it every once in a while. Y'all are probably tired of hearing me talk about how much money I spend and how much money I need. Well, here's the deal. I'm going to say it again, because if I'm going to have an app where we can broadcast on your phone, where you can just click and boom, there it is. We're live on your phone. We could send you push alerts, the little messages that come up, with, hey, we're going on right now. We're going to be live in 5 minutes. We could send all kinds of messages to people. That would be cool to have. So an app that we could broadcast on. The thing is, creating the app costs money, and broadcasting on an app costs money. So we're going to try very, very hard to do that. We may be on YouTube for another year, another season. And we may do some of these post-game live things, possibly for a few select basketball games. So that could be cool too. But if we're going to do that, at some point Travis helps us out like you would not believe, people. Travis Dever. He has helped us out tremendously to be able to do this show this year as well as we have, and from Burger U and all that stuff. Burger U has been awesome to us. So, but at some point, we're going to have to maybe have another person that wants to advertise with us. Maybe somebody who wants to have that app sponsored by them. Possibly, or have the post-game show on the app sponsored by them would be the best thing. So if you want to sponsor an app, if you want to sponsor the Knightline Live app, call me or send me an email, andrew@ucfnightlinepodcast.com, or you can send us a Facebook message. It's Knightline on Facebook, or you can use the contact form on our website, ucfnightlinepodcast.com, or you can, follow us on Twitter and send us a message on Twitter. It's at UCF_Knightline, or you can call 407-401-9184 and leave a message, or, all that kind of stuff. So that would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate all the people that called tonight. I think we're going to probably call this quits because the phone lines have dried up all of a sudden. So I can't sit here and talk forever. It's fun and all that, but I'm running out of stuff to talk about. So I guess I'm going to give you real quick my final thoughts on this whole deal tonight. And I have a lot to say about the Scott Frost situation as well. So maybe I'll go into a little bit of that here real quick. I'll start with that. So this whole deal with Scott Frost getting job offers from other schools. If we don't win, that doesn't happen. We like to win, so it's going to happen. The more we win, the more it's going to happen. I understand that, and it's a good thing that he's getting those calls. When you have a guy that is as exciting, brings as an exciting of a brand of football to your school, other people are going to want it. Other schools are going to be jealous of it, and they're going to want that. So, and that's how this whole thing works, is these people, they come to Central Florida, or they come to, Southwest Florida, or FAU, or, one of those schools, and they step up and they get the job at Alabama, LSU, Nebraska, whoever, that have the money to pay these coaches more than we do, unfortunately. I still say this all goes back to endowment, the endowment that the school has. It all goes back to that as far as I'm concerned. It all goes back to the boosters and people that give all this money. But here's the deal with Scott Frost. This is what I've wanted to say for a long time, and I've been kind of holding it in. I've told a couple people. But Scott Frost could have a dynasty here. He could have a true dynasty, winning American championships. And if he wins enough American championships, you get ranked higher in the preseason polls. You're closer to the top of that poll every year the more you do that. UCF has an incredible vehicle with the amount of students that they have, and those students are getting older, so at some point they're going to start giving a little bit more money. I mean, they've definitely increased their donorship in the last couple of years. Danny White's doing a great job with that, and then this whole I can't think of the name of the campaign that they're running right now. Obviously, that's to give Scott Frost a little bit more money. I don't think Scott Frost is that horribly worried about money. I know everybody is pretty worried about money, but I don't think Scott Frost is really super worried about it. I don't think that he likes the spotlight. He's kind of a soft-spoken guy outside of the press conferences and stuff that he does. He's not a huge talker. He doesn't like to have a lot of attention. So he's mentioned a few times that he likes that about UCF, that he can go and have dinner with his wife and do things around the city and not be bugged by a bunch of people. You go to any of those giant storied programs and you're going to be under the microscope. You're not going to be able to eat breakfast without people telling you what you ate. You're not going to be able to do anything without anybody telling you everything. So I don't know. I just think that he can have a dynasty here, a number of years of the recruiting like he does. This could be the absolute top of the G5, or at some point, the realignment thing, it's coming again. It's going to happen again. So this school could easily be one of these days in one of those Power 5 conferences. I'm making air quotes, Power 5. I guess the American is the Power 6, and that's great. But this could be a dynasty for Scott Frost of being the number one G5 school that there is for a number of years, and that would be awesome. Somebody's getting tired of me talking, so they're going to call. We'll go to this phone call real quick. Hey, you're on Knightline. You saved everybody from my rant.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, it's Eric Kohler. How you doing?
What's going on, bud?
Good. How are you?
It's nice to be able to breathe again.
Absolutely. Were you listening to my rant?
I didn't get a chance to listen to the rant. I just wanted to make sure I called in and say, what about those Knights?
Absolutely. What did you think about this game tonight?
Well, I mean, it was a tough fought win. I mean, SMU, 6-2 for the first time since 1984, and that says something right there. And it was their homecoming, and we made some mistakes a little bit here and there, but I think the emotional drain of Scott Frost and Ashley awaiting their first child to come, and it's just it's one of those things that in this business you just got to get that W, and that's what happened, and it feels great. I mean, Dallas is a tough place to play, and SMU played a big game. They gave us a test, but we got it done, and it feels great. 8-0, and we're going to bring back the guys home on this coming Saturday. So hopefully the city of Orlando gets behind this team. I don't know what else we can do to pack that house for Spectrum Stadium Saturday at noon.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen for UConn. I mean, it would be nice, and I would love it, but I just don't see that happening for UConn, especially a noon game, and it's UConn. How many more times, I guess, can I say that?
Yeah, but the problem, the fact of the matter is we could debate it all day long. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, you only have X amount of games every fall. Everybody looks forward to the games. There should be no excuse. There's only 5 undefeated teams in the country. I mean, you got Alabama, Georgia, Wisconsin, the Hurricanes, and us. I mean, I don't know what else you got to do to get on out and support UCF football. I mean, this is an exciting time, and but that's above our pay grade. I show up and do my job at our home games and create the energy, and help create the atmosphere for our UCF football nights to stay undefeated at home, and that's all we can do. But 12 noon games, you're right. They're a little tough, but the bottom line is, man, you show up no matter when the games are, what your opponents are, bottom line.
Then, the other thing that people, now that I mentioned the 12 noon game, the more you win and the more you, the bigger games that you have, the more games are going to be at 12 noon. We've been lucky for the last couple of years, for not having a lot of 12 noon games. This one, not really sure why it's at 12, but that's the way that the ESPN guys figured it out, I guess. Yeah,
I really hope the case. I'm not a big fan of the 12 noon. Again, I know that the football team and the coaches, I think they really do appreciate the noon games simply because they're not having guys, sitting in a hotel room for all those hours. They can get up and implement their game plan and, get the job and get the task done at hand. I think the later games, sometimes coaches will tell you privately that sometimes they like the earlier games, but in terms of, tailgating for the fan base, you got a lot of parents that have kids and they have activities in the first part of the day. You'll hear that as a caveat for some people not being able to make it. But you know what? Bottom line is that was a great win tonight. And, it doesn't matter. It wasn't pretty, but it counts. We're 8-0. I mean, think about that. We've never been 8-0 ever in our football program history since 1979. It's a magical carpet ride.
I guess we should probably just, enjoy the ride, like a couple people have said. Then, right? I mean, that's one of the biggest things.
That's exactly right. And I mean, it's I have a feeling that I think it's going to be a good turnaround week for UCF, and hopefully Ashley and Scott can hopefully enjoy having their first child. I know that bears heavy. I have 2 boys that are now 11 and 9, and I remember how nervous I was for when my first son, Luke, came into my life. And I really feel for both of those guys, for Scott and Ashley, in terms of, it's a lot to manage upstairs, man. I mean, he's got a big football family he takes care of. They're on the road, being removed from your wife, expecting a child. I mean, that's a lot. You can be cool, calm, and collective all day long, but the bottom line is if you never had a kid coming into your life, it's a lot of emotional drain, and I think that I think he might be feeling that, but I know it's going to feel a lot better being 8-0 and sneaking out of Dallas with a win.
Absolutely. Eric, thank you so much for your call, man. We really appreciate what you do. If people don't know who they're listening to, Eric Kohler, he is the voice of the Knights in the stadium. You hear his voice after every one of those first down calls. Could you give us one of those real quick? Maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. That'll move the chains. That's good enough for another UCF first down.
All right, man. We're looking forward next weekend to hearing that a bunch of times, man. Thank you very much for calling.
Man, appreciate your support of the football family. You guys do a great job, and the exposure is very positive. Thank you so much.
I appreciate what you do, my friend, and for helping us out. Thank you for calling.
You got it, brother. Charge on, man.
Go Knights. All righty. Well, there is one more person that has snuck in on the phone lines besides Eric Kohler, and we'll get to that person as soon as my phone gives it to me. It takes 30 seconds. But you guys got to hear a little bit of my rant. There will be more of that on Knightline coming up tomorrow night, or we'll hear it tomorrow night. You will hear it Monday morning. Maybe you'll hear it. Well, no, you probably won't hear it Sunday nights. There are some people that listen to us in the wee hours right when that thing comes out, and I greatly appreciate it. I see those people that listen right when it comes out, and I appreciate that more than you could ever imagine. Hopefully this phone call is going to come in here in just a second. I see him on the screen. There it is. Hey, you're on Knightline. You're going to be the last caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is John from Jupiter. Just giving you a call. It was interesting to hear your last piece on Scott Frost because, who knows what's going to happen with him. There's a lot of rumors going around about where he could go and where he might wind up. But, I think it's a good situation for him here, and hopefully he'll stay.
Well, I hope that you enjoyed that rant a little bit. I didn't totally get to finish, but maybe you'll hear more of it on our next Knightline, like I was saying. Yeah, it could be a wonderful thing here. I think it is a wonderful thing. That baby's coming. We're 8-0. I guess if we could give him some more money, we would, of course. UCF would give him more money, but I really don't think that it's all about money for Scott Frost. I think he enjoys what he's doing, and what I want from him is just at least for him to see his first recruiting class all graduate from here before he goes someplace else.
And I think one of the big points that you bring up that's totally true is we should be more worried if nobody's interested in Scott Frost. That means we're playing terrible football. And because if you look at, kind of the power, the group of 5 coaches, who are the ones who get rumored in all of the jobs? It's basically the ones, the hot team. So if we don't have the hot team, then Scott Frost isn't in any job conversation that we know of.
Absolutely. So we should get used to it and we should enjoy it. I guess that's probably the biggest thing that we all need to take away from this. Get used to it, because if we're winning, people are going to, or other schools are going to want to take our coach. They're going to want to have what we have, and we're lucky to have it right now.
Yeah, and one last thing before I let you go is that, people need to remember, all of this stuff that we hear about Scott Frost, it's all basically talk radio, speculation, nonsense. We don't actually know what Scott Frost thinks, what any schools think who are actually hiring coaches. Who knows? For all we know, that, the staff at Florida, they have no interest in Frost. They're targeting somebody else entirely, different, just kind of like how nobody knew about Scott Frost going to UCF.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a good point that you make. We need to remember that. We had no clue. The majority of people, the vast majority of people, had no clue that Scott Frost was coming to UCF. It was a shock to all of us.
Now, at the time, I don't think there was a single source until the very, very end.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Well, thanks for everything you guys do, and I appreciate listening to you.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate that. Go Knights.
All right, charge on.
All right. That's going to be our last phone call for tonight. Absolutely awesome show. I enjoy this more than you have any idea. I actually enjoy doing it, of course, from my 1148 studios here in the privacy of my own home. And, just because of distractions and noise and all that. So it's cool. And I appreciate everyone who called, and I appreciate everyone who listened. I know there's those of you out there that are just listeners and not callers. And I encourage you to call us and talk about, what we're doing and the football season. And hopefully, like I said, we'll do a couple of these during basketball. Thank you to Burger U for hosting us this year. Thank you to Travis Dever. We will be at Burger U after the November 11th home game against UConn, and we'll see you there. Please come and say hi, even if you don't stick around and listen to us. It's hard there because you can't really hear us, but if you sit close enough to us, if you sit right in the general area of where we're at, you can hear us. So wouldn't be able to hear the callers and stuff, but anyway, you can always come by. I need somebody to start that show with me as well, because I don't have anybody lined up. So if you want to do that, contact us on Twitter or by the website or Facebook or something like that, and say that you're the guy that wants to start it with me, and you will be the guy that sits there and starts it with me. And that's a blast to have people that I don't know do that and all that. So all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for all the calls, all the listeners. For Trace Trylko, I'm Andrew Phegley. Go Knights and charge on. We will see you next week. 8-0, baby.
UCF, Georgia. march on to the field with our spirit